What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Ground Roosters Ranch. We're back here at the bardominum. I'm going to give you guys a bit of an update about what's been going on over the past couple weeks. So stick around and I'll show you what's been going on. So it's been a couple weeks since I've talked to you guys, and I just didn't want you to think that I forgot about you. I have been busy, but to me it's been boring stuff. I want to show you what I've been doing. The basement renovation is coming along. As you can see me behind, we've got a bunch of the drywall up, and I'm in the process of finishing out this little section here and here, and it's coming along nicely. Some cleanup. I've got a chalk line run all along here in order to lay out for all the pot lights that are going to go in. So that's where the basement's at. I consider this stuff pretty boring. Ultimately, there's not a whole lot to see or do or anything associated to this. If you guys find this stuff interesting, there's tons of videos about it. I'm not going to video all this. Mudding and taping is pretty much torture. So it's boring. When it's done, I'll cover the tape and the floor, or I'll cover the paint and the flooring, and that'll be that. Barndo, though, has also slowed down to the point where I have to wait for contractor to come in and do the installation. I'm going to get it spray foamed. I've done a few things, so we'll go down there right now and I'll show you where we're at and what I've got to do next. So today's project is I have to lower the header on the main door so that the roll-up door can go in and have a place to affix to. Now, normally this isn't such a big job, but I'm going to change a few things here, and as you can see I have some new lumber behind me so that I can make a better point to attach all this stuff to down the road. It's going to be fun. This is a good one, but let's show you what I've been up to since you last saw us. So the floor's got some structural reinforcement blocking to keep the joists from twisting. It takes the bounce out of the floor. And the reason this was important because in one of my last videos, I showed you guys that there was holes in the floor. And my fix for that was to reskin the floor so we'd have a nice hard and clean surface to work off of. Now this beats the old floor, which was boards all the way across, but now as you can see I've got plywood on it. It's been glued and screwed. I've added this little piece here. That'll become important later on. And today we are just getting ready for the door to go in, and the rest is just prep work for spray foam. I have a little bit of cleanup left to do. Spray foam is supposed to come next week. Hopefully they're able to get in here before it gets too cold, because if you don't know, if it gets below freezing while it's curing, it can shrink and pull away from the studs and the wood. So we want to get that done before everything freezes overnight here. Okay, so I've had Matt Parker come in from Parker's Overhead Doors, and he's taken the measurements he needs in order to build me a custom roll-up door, because this opening isn't made or created to manufacturer specs. I need a custom width. Easy enough that he can cut it down, he can make it the width that it needs to be. The problem is that you need a certain amount of headroom in order for the roll-up door rails to be able to come up and make their turn, and there's not enough there. He needs the door to come down to 7 foot 3 inches, which I have marked out to be right here. So that's our project today. We're going to be removing these outside strips. We're going to replace them with 2x8s. We're going to put a 2x10 header on the inside. And because we're going to be keeping the outside doors, we're then going to build out an insulated section on the front of that header to protect us from entry of cold and to make it look like there's actually something there from the outside looking in. It's going to be a false header because this is already structurally supported anyway. We're just making something strong enough to hold the tension of that spring rack to keep it from returning back on itself. And the 2x10 is more than enough to do that. We're also going to be dealing with a few things like foam insulation on the backside of these boards, because some of their gaps and cracks, whenever the spray foam contractor comes in, they're not going to be able to get to this. So we're going to deal with that right now. And once this is done, we're going to do some cleanup and just get ready for insulation. The doors on there right now have a split at the bottom, so we're dealing with a bit of a mouse issue where mice have been getting in, and the mice have eaten all the bait that I put out from 2 different bags. So clearly there's a mouse issue here. The roll-up door is going to be a big factor in fixing that, and the spray foam is going to seal every crack and every gap that I can't imagine or see on the surface level, so that we can get this straightened out. It's amazing, actually. They've eaten all that bait. Hopefully it's worked, and I see a lot of the bait is still here. But roll-up door will fix a bunch of that, and the spray foam will help a great deal as well. So there's no guarantees at the building because the building's a little bit wonky. So in order for me to find 7'3" or 87 inches, I'm going to go from what I think is the high side of the concrete on the floor, and then I'm going to use a level to go across to find level on the header, and then we're going to measure down to see how far out we are from square on height, and that'll pick our measurement on how this door is actually going to be going in. Let's have a look. Boy, that's perfect. Oh yeah, we're close. 1/4 inch difference. Perfect. So now what I'll do is I'm going to cut those marks, and I'm going to cut the tops of these 2x3s off. And then we'll cut the header. And I'll set the header on top of the existing 2x3s. I'll tack it in place. And then I'll replace everything underneath of it, square it, plumb it. I was hesitant to go to the battery-powered saw and the battery-powered nail gun. I can say for a fact now that I can't imagine. It would have to be some massive project in order for me to go back where I was going to be sawing all day. And even that lasts a long, long time on the 20-volt batteries, a 5-amp-hour battery. That's all I've been using on this project. And I have no power in here yet. The solar is coming. You guys see the box is already here. Just waiting for everything else to get in and get done. This is a massive issue that when you're working off grid, you don't know if you can use the batteries. They last a long time, especially if you get the 5-amp-hour. I'm a believer now. And the nail gun, I got that DeWalt nail gun, framing nailer. And the nail gun is literally like having an extra guy with you. You can do with 2 hands what you would need 2 guys to do with 4. And that is not an exaggeration. So if you're like me, you're going to be building stuff and you want to be able to get it done, you don't want to have to wait for a buddy to show up, go get that stuff. I wish I had done it a long time ago. 6.25. And I gotta find the center of it. Well, maybe not. Well, no. I'm gonna go with 7.25 on this side. Again, one guy putting up a door. Not such a big deal until it is. Watch me struggling on camera. One guy. Oh, here we go. Oh, we are flat. Perfect. That's all. So it's pretty boring stuff, but if you can see here, this piece of lumber comes out, and then the actual building was built on 6x6s, rough cut, and then I added pressure treated 6x6 underneath of it and jacked the building up and then reset it on top of the sonotubes. Gives that extra height, and it was a way to add to the floor, to add enough headspace to be able to use it. So I have to come down here. The plywood is going to come and sit on this surface right here. So I have to actually go over 7.5 inches, and I got to notch this down, and then I got to cut this out. So now I got both sides trimmed out, and there's enough room here so when the 2x8 sits on top, the plywood will go down over top of this, and this is what that bottom bracket will attach to. Butter. So now that I got the inside of the frame put together, I have to build it out. And this is what I mean. I had to build out a header here that's now insulated. You can see how I put the foam in around the insulation to tighten it up. There's also insulation underneath the top board to prevent drafts from going in. I'm going to put pressure treated siding board on here. It's a type of plywood. It's used in construction of mini barns and all that stuff all the time. It's going to be a little false wall in here that's also insulated, and we're going to seal it as well. So there'll be sealant going around, seal the board on, I'll tack it up, nail it up, and then I'll move on to the next one and check it for foam afterwards. And then after all the installation's done, I can go and I can put the trim on inside, and this whole thing will be done. All the way down, and there's the false header in there. It's got sealant all the way around it, and everything's sealed to it. There's going to be another piece that goes on the bottom here to trim it all out, but the trim goes on after the foam because there's going to be plywood come up against here. The plywood's going to come out another 1/2 inch, and then we're going to put the trim piece on here and cut it to fit. All right, there's also some other things that have gone on that you guys may or may not know about. We've been running back and forth to Halifax, and for myself, running to the doctor. I got a heart monitor put in. It's Bluetooth apparently. They shoved it in my chest. It's all healed up now. Stitches are out, we're all good. I got to hook up to a Bluetooth. I asked for the upgrade, but they refused to do it. And while my brother was in the hospital down there, he was running around asking to sign the DNR forms and pulling plugs to the wall, practicing. So they didn't know what to make of that, but we all had a good time. It wasn't that bad of a procedure, but it put me down for a couple days there where I was just sore after they inserted that. Gavin, he has his brace now, and he's going through the graduated program of wearing it more and more and more every day. And the big thing with the brace is that it offsets his body so badly that he can only wear it for a few hours at a time at this point in time, and he's got to work his way up to 23 hours a day. He can only take it off, play sports, or and get in the water, take a bath or swim. So we're working through that right now, and he's doing really, really well. He's got no issues with it so far. We're trying to have to get a special shirt that doesn't have seams in it. The body cast is so tight that the seams in the shirt will press into the skin and cause issues with pain, and it's just like what I imagine your socks would do when your legs get swollen. You just get those pains from all the different seams in the clothing. So more annoying for him. We're trying to work our way through those issues and get him set up so that he can wear that all the time. He's so active that it makes it challenging. Lots going on. My head has healed up. There's a bump, but you know, other than the renovations and trying to get everything done before the winter is in full effect and strike. This is my favorite time of year. So usually we'd be out doing a bunch of stuff outside, but there's the projects going on and everything that's happening in here right now. We're trying to get everything buttoned up so that we can make some serious progress so we can use both properties this winter. Guys, that's all I have for you today. If you like the content, hit the bell, hit the like button, and leave a comment. Soon we're gonna have a door going in. Soon we're gonna have the foam done, and the whole interior is gonna get transformed after that. Solar will go in. We're gonna have a great time. Stick around. Just have some patience.